Welcome to the Salt and Light Serve Spotlight, brought to you by itsonlyhomeschooling.com, a website devoted to advocacy, community, and resources for homeschooling children with learning differences. In this podcast series, we highlight those who embody a servant's heart, both individuals and organizations, changing lives one act of service at a time. Hello everyone, and welcome to our show. My name is Kimberly Bennett, and I am your host. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for giving us a listen. A little bit about me. I am a licensed professional counselor turned homeschool mom of one. I am also an advocate for homeschooling children with learning differences. But my real passion is community outreach and service. For more of my story and background, feel free to listen to episode 1 or check out my website at itsonlyhomeschooling.com. Today in episode 12, the Salt and Light Serve Spotlight presents Endersby's Heroes. A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. The late Christopher Reeve, Superman. In March, we honor many different occasions here at It's Only Homeschooling. From Dr. Seuss's birthday, which is also National Read Across America Day, Music Therapy Month, Super Mario Day, Johnny Appleseed Day, National Good Samaritan's Day, Pi Day, St. Patrick's Day, and International Waffle Day, just to name a few. Whether our celebrations are wacky or wondrous, we count Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month among our favorites. Today, in episode 12 of our podcast, and in honor of Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, we continue our ongoing celebration of neurodiversity here at It's Only Homeschooling by shining our spotlight on a small business that is making a big impact for families of medically fragile children and children with disabilities. We are honored to shine our Salt and Light Serve Spotlight on Endersby Productions. From magical beginnings to making magic. Small business owners Scott and Nicole Endersby met in 2004 at the happiest place on earth, Walt Disney World. Scott was a photographer, and Nicole was a retail services guest manager. By 2008, the pair had left Walt and Company behind and relocated to the Lone Star State. In 2010, the couple teamed up to launch Endersby Productions, a photography and videography business. It was both professional and personal experience that led to the founding of their community outreach project in 2013, now known as Endersby's Heroes. Longing for community. Listening to Nicole share about the early years when her oldest son was first diagnosed with autism, I feel an all too familiar pang. Longing, loneliness, isolation. It feels like a lifetime ago now, but in an instant, those feelings come rushing back. I see Nicole, mom to mom. Wandering lost in the wilderness in a strange new world of different, you seek camaraderie, desperately pursuing connection and guidance, not only to appease the ache of unwelcome solitude, but also to comfort as you face the fears of the unknown. Searching for mentors and friends to stand beside you, and traveling companions to walk with you on this journey to encourage you. Oh, how I remember being there. My journey led me to create this website, blog, vlog, and podcast. Along the way, I have met many wonderful parent advocates, just like Scott and Nicole. grassroots founder Sue Hilly of DCD Kids, waymakers like Cindy Bunch of Philip's Wish and Christina Chang of Under My Umbrella, life changers like Maddie Churchman of Christ's Haven, and poverty awareness warriors like Erin Frazita of Hearts in Motion. Nicole and Scott's journey led them to take action. The Endersbys saw a need in the world and decided to do something about it. We can be heroes. Not all superheroes wear capes. Some view the world through a different lens. The couple began their Give Back campaign in 2013 with their Go Blue in the Bluebonnets campaign to celebrate Autism Acceptance Month in April. Bluebonnets are the state flower in our home state of Texas and are only in bloom for a few short weeks in the spring. In 2019, they expanded their efforts to include families of medically fragile children and families of children with disabilities. As parents to 3 young boys, 2 of whom are diagnosed with autism and 1 who is diagnosed with ADHD, the couple understands all too well the challenges faced by families of children with special needs. Seemingly simple activities that so many of us take for granted are often monumental tasks for families whose children experience sensory processing issues, developmental delays, major illness, mobility limitations, or speech or communication challenges. Getting a haircut, watching a movie in a public theater, or capturing a family memory with a photographer can be challenging at best or seem impossible at worst. That is, unless you have caring, compassionate professionals willing to go the extra mile. Professionals who truly see you as a person and as a parent because they have walked in your shoes. Professionals like Scott and Nicole Endersby. Recently, I had the privilege of chatting with the couple about their philanthropy. Let's listen. Well, good morning. Today I have with me husband and wife team, Scott and Nicole Endersby. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it so much. Here's a little blurb to let our listeners know a little bit about you. Scott and Nicole Endersby are professional photographers and digital creators by day, but that is just their day job. While their professional work through Endersby Productions is nothing short of spectacular, it is their philanthropy that has garnered them well-deserved recognition. In their free time, they are advocates and artists with a servant's heart. Endersby Productions is a small business with a big mission. The Endersbys have 3 children, 2 of whom are diagnosed with autism. As parents of children with special needs, they saw a need in the world and decided to do something about it. Between your professional business, your extensive philanthropy work, and now I understand you also homeschool 3 children, 2 of whom have special needs. I am humbled that you would take the time out of your busy day to chat with our listeners and talk about the work that you do and just let us know how we in the homeschool community can support fellow homeschoolers. So can you tell us what inspired you to found Endersby's Heroes?
Go for it, Scott.
It started back in basically 2018. Started with our boys. I have an idea that I want to do. So
He got inspiration from another photographer that was doing these composite photos, and he was geared towards more for kids with cancer. And Scott was like, well, I can do this with our disability. And so he kind of ran it with our own kids, and they really had fun with it. And we did we got their photo done on canvas, and it was like a really big deal. And we're like, okay, let's try this. So in 2019, we actually decided to bring it out and start a I guess, a project, if you will. We didn't realize how big it was going to get. We literally just kind of were trying to help the local community. And we actually, towards the end of those sessions, a national magazine called Pop Sugar. It's kind of got, national news, but it's got a lot of trendy type of articles as well. And they got a hold of our mission through Instagram, and they're based out of New York. So I was like, wow. At first, I thought it was actually spam. I was like, who is this? What do they want from us? Like, because, it was never on our radar to go through the media with this. We just wanted to help our local community and have some sort of a, impact within our own bubble in DFW. And so when it went national, it was like, oh, okay, well, more people want to hear this, not just our local community, but okay, this is awesome. And so it just was very overwhelming in 2019. And of course, we all know what happened for 2020. And so coming out of 2020, it was almost like we were restarting our mission in a way. And so we've had to kind of figure out how to do this mission and what works for us, because if we're not really busy in our regular day-to-day job, we can't give back to the magnitude that we work. And so, we're mostly real estate and commercial photographers and headshots. And with the economy, a lot of people can't afford, they need the work, but they can't afford the work. And so we've kind of had a shift on how we do our heroes. And we do those through campaigns, and you can nominate a child with a disability. It's for the individual with a disability as well as their siblings. And I say individual because it's not just for the kids, it's for the adults too. We've done all the way up till almost 60 years old. We've had individuals have fun with this.
That's awesome.
So it's through a whole spectrum of ranges, diversity, and the whole 9 yards. And so we're constantly in shift mode of trying to figure out how do we keep giving back, keep our business afloat, and of course, the homeschool life too. And as you know, every year we're, you have to build on that. And so that's a whole nother ball game as well. So, but yeah, as long as we stay busy in our work, then we can give back as much as we're able to give back on the side, as supporting our family too. So, so that's us in a nutshell.
I was reading about all of the amazing advocacy work that you guys do, especially for autism. Advocacy is a big part of what we do in our home. It's a big part of my website. It's a big part of what we do as homeschoolers as well. We like to encourage parents of children with learning differences, special needs, and disabilities. Can you speak a little bit about your role as parents and advocates? In our house, we call it putting on our advocate hat. We juggle and we have to do so many different things, but what is it like for you in your role as parents, as advocates?
I think it's gotten hard to kind of separate that now, since we do so much of it in our business as well as our personal, because it's come basically second nature to us at this point. When our kids were diagnosed years ago, it was basically the mama bear, having to constantly make sure everything was accommodated for our own kids. And then it's transitioned to trying to make sure everything is okay for all the other kids and all the other individuals with disabilities going through this. So it's kind of meshed with going from the parents to the public advocate and kind of merging in together. Our kids actually even help us with our heroes work. They love what we do. And as long as they love what we're doing and they love our heroes, we'll continue doing that. But the moment they say, we don't want to do this anymore, this has all been for them. It's all been for others that are like them. I myself aren't, I'm very neurodivergent myself, very ADHD. And I know I'm on the autism spectrum without having that official diagnosis. And I just, as long as I feel like we can make change, and it doesn't matter if people know me by name or know Scott by name, as long as they get the message, that's all that matters. through the media journey, it was a lot of people remember the story like, oh yeah, you're the one out of Texas, but they don't remember our name per se, and that's okay, but they remember the story. And that's the whole point, is getting the story, getting the message out there, because then it gets people to talk. And so it's been very interesting going from the parent side of advocates wearing the hat to also trying to be in the public eye as well, being public advocates, because obviously change needs to happen. And so we're constantly juggling the parent to the public advocate hat, and it all kind of collides together. So, yeah.
It does. It is almost difficult to tease those two apart. I find that one just kind of overlaps in with the other. And now, as your children are older, my son will be 10 very soon, and we've transitioned to the role of also teaching self-advocacy, which is another whole ballgame and challenge in and of itself as well, but an equally important component. Yes. But you advocate for so many different. Oh, no, please go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
I was just going to say, and you advocate for so many things beyond just ADHD and autism. You work with so many different other organizations where you volunteer your time. I was reading about the special needs proms and what is it, Amy Swish with Wings, and a few of the others that you've worked with. Feel free to share some of that work as well.
Sure. Yeah. We, so Amy's is near and dear and special to our heart, because when our oldest started his journey of autism, is like what I like to say, because for a couple years there, we felt like we were a normal family. And then autism kind of came in and was like, what is this? What's going on? But when he had started the Early Learning Center, his teacher's like, he is like obsessed with horses. I've got horses in my room. And at the time he was nonverbal. And so we were trying to figure out this fascination with horses, and but he always gravitated towards them. And he was 3 years old at the time. And I actually happened to talk to my professor because I had gone back to school at this time. And she's like, well, my daughter used to ride with this person out of South Lake, and you're really close to this person. And they just started a whole nonprofit called, I think, Amy's, and just contact her and see what this is about. You know, my daughter can't ride with her anymore because of the change of style of riding that her daughter did. So we did. We checked her out, and he's been horseback riding for over 10 years now. He started at 3 years old, horseback riding, and it's just been such a blessing, and the whole organization and what she does is a blessing. And so for us to give back how we can, we do whatever we need to for her. And so we do the media, we do her photography, videography when she needs it. Of course, she's got a great support system. So she will let us know when she needs it. But we've also, our studio is based on her property now as well. So that's where we do our heroes. And she actually doesn't even charge us for that. It's become such a great and blessing of a partnership, because we were paying studio rent for our heroes, and that was really hurting us financially. And so it's just been overall blessing, giving back to an organization that their hearts are where our hearts are. And we also give back to Heroic Inner Kids. They partner with us. They actually become the characters. And so we do their photos. They come to the events and they have fun. We know Superman, Wonder Woman, and that whole gang. And that's been a blessing. That partnership happened because one of our Endersby's heroes, they were the ones that set that up. And Heroic was like, no, I'm getting your name. I love what you do. Like, let's make this happen. And so it's just kind of through our own advocacy journey, not just for us doing what we do, but with our kids. If our kids have been part of something, we just wind up forming relationships. And that's how a lot of it has been built. And then Adaptable Scuba, they actually reached out to us. They help individuals with disabilities 10 years old and up through scuba. And it's what they call scuba experiences, not lessons, because you have to get certified in lessons.
Yes.
But they help individuals with disabilities kind of get the feel of what it feels like going underwater in case they ever want to go out into the ocean. And so that's a cool thing. He just got done doing another event this past weekend, and they are veteran based. And so they work a lot with disabled veterans. And so that's been fun. So we have that part. And then we also give back to adults with disabilities. And we are part of a chamber that's more, I don't want to say political, but we're trying to make political change when it comes to the disability world. That's more for the workers and older. So we have nonprofits and organizations from literally almost, it seems like babies, all the way up to retirement and beyond.
The gamut.
So we have 10 organizations right now that we help. So, yeah. Plus, we give back on one day a week too. We give back through an adults with disabilities group that they get together and they worship together and they it's just kind of like a social gathering, if you will. We do that once a week as well. So that's not included in our 10 organizations that we help. That's just a fun thing that we do every week because our kids love it too. So. Yeah.
You know, that's most definitely leading by example. I'm just sitting here. My mouth is, I'm like, well, part of this is video instead of just audio. So my mouth is on the floor because I'm trying to plug in.
You're okay. You can edit.
I'm probably going to. But I almost need to like chat with you later for time management skills because you seem to have it down.
I wish I could say that. If it's not in my calendar, I can't do it, but because I forget. But it seems like most people will get us in advance, not last minute. There are times that we have to say no to people. And I mean, we just had a request come in for April and we can't even do April because we're booked up until May at this point of just volunteer work. And we have to give time for our small business. We have to make money to pay bills but we're booked in volunteer work up until May at this point. So, it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, if you will, but as I'm ADHD, so it keeps me busy and I have to have those tasks, if you will. I can't just sit and not do anything. And so as long as it's on the calendar, he's pretty good about making sure where he's at. And he's just, okay, where am I supposed to be today? I'm the one that kind of, sets everything up. And so I think it would be harder if it was just a one-person team and not both of us because we have to tag team together a lot of times. So, yeah, it's fun sometimes trying to do it all.
You put the fun in the chaos, and the chaos can be fun. It's just all about attitude. But you hit on something there that's incredibly important for spouses, for families, for partners to remember. You are a team, and you have to be able to rely on one another. Yeah, and whether that's parenting, whether that's homeschool, whether that's a business, it's crucial. And it sounds like you make it work.
Yeah.
You make it work.
I think we figured it out, maybe.
Well, just as soon as you figure it out, life's going to throw you a curveball, and then you're going to readjust. But that's okay. You readjust.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
and it sounds like you're doing it very successfully.
So that was a curveball for us. I used to go out with him with work, and then that stopped because of the homeschool thing. And so and that's the point. There's always going to be a curveball. So, I mean, you nailed that. So,
and that is life. And I think that's also part of what we teach our children. We teach it through, we model it basically that, you're the only way around obstacles is really not around them. It's through until and you learn how to manage it in the chaos, It's
Exactly.
curveballs are going to come. There's no way to avoid them. Well, you can for some, but then you don't really learn from the process. It's
Yeah.
more of, oh, okay, well, I didn't see that coming. Now, what am I going to do with it now that it's here? And you're modeling that beautiful example for your kids so that they can go, oh, okay, well, life's going to throw me curveballs. So now here's what I do. I either learn how to catch or swing or move out of the way, depending on who's pitching. So, okay. You mentioned now, as far as having people or families, individuals referred to Endersby's Heroes, you go through a campaign process. Can you tell me a little bit about what's involved with that so that people can learn how to nominate someone?
Sure. We started campaigns recently since we felt in our heart to be able to give back, not just in Texas, but throughout the world. So we are able to have any families or individuals, so even yourself, if you wanted to nominate an individual with disabilities, we can build what's called a campaign. And you actually, it's kind of like a GoFundMe, if you will. You get a link and then you raise a goal amount out in the community with your friends, family, colleagues, whoever that you want to share it with. And it helps us be able to supplement the cost in which we've lost in sponsors, because not everybody can sponsor now, being the economy. So this is a way for anybody that feels in their heart to give to their friend, colleague, what have you, when they see this link. To be able to donate. So it's kind of like your own personal connections are giving this gift to you. So this way the family is still not paying for our hero sessions. It's still free of charge for them, but it's through crowdfunding throughout the community. And like I said, it's now, we've taken it global, so we can ship the costumes to the families wherever they're at. And Scott can digitally recreate images. So the family will take photos, send them to Scott through email, and he'll digitally create them after they get their costumes in. And so it's fun. It's nerve-wracking because it's not just here on our own little bubble of Texas. We've had several families actually outside of DFW already do this, where we've sent them costumes or they had their own costumes that they wanted to get. And he's actually created images, and you would never know that we actually were not in studio with them, because we told them exactly the way to do the photos, send us the photos, and he was still able to create these images and get this experience, and not even being in Texas. So we're excited about the campaigns. And we hope that everybody has an understanding of why we're doing it, because we have to supplement that income of the give back. It's really expensive for us. And so it's kind of a global impact, if you will. So.
It absolutely is. And to sort of clarify, a lot of people confuse nonprofits with kind of tithing your time. You're not a nonprofit. No. You are a small business that gives away your time and your skill to help people who otherwise might not actually have access to these services. As a family of two children with special needs, you understand all too well that there are certain things that if you do not have a child that struggles with, like my son has sensory processing concerns. So there are certain things that if you don't have a child that struggles with bright lights or with loud noises or with tactile sensory defensiveness, simple things such as getting a haircut, going to a movie theater, or even going to have your picture taken is a monumental feat. Yes. So you're offering a service pro bono to not just the child with needs, but to the entire family. You're providing them an opportunity. As photographers, you recognize and realize that photo shoots are usually booked with really tight time schedules. But if you have a child with special needs, or even an adult with special needs, you can throw that right out the window as far as the clock goes. You're offering a service pro bono that is an opportunity that many other photographers or professionals would not recognize the need for. There are many that do, But you're offering an opportunity for these families that they might not be able to get otherwise, either due to unavailability of professionals or due to cost. Maybe they wouldn't be able to afford this service. OT and PT and additional therapy services cost money out of pocket, and insurance does not always cover. Medical bills might pile up, and they might not be able to capture this one little moment of time to mark time with their family, but you're offering that. You don't have to be a nonprofit to give back, and you are offering your time, your skills, your patience to these families. And so there is absolutely nothing wrong with asking for support in that. They're not necessarily just supporting you, they're supporting these families. Yes, so that is something that we are hoping to get the word out about for you guys, and to promote that.
Thank you.
Whether juggling the many roles of parents, professionals, and philanthropists, or balancing the demands of homeschooling 3 children, the Endersbys are a busy crew. Time management ninja skills aside, the family remains humble, devoted, and focused. To learn more about how to nominate a hero for Endersby's Heroes, visit Scott and Nicole's website at www.endersbyproductions.com. Want to help a hero soar? As Endersby Productions, the founders of Endersby's Heroes is a small business and not a nonprofit, funding to support this outreach effort is secured primarily through crowdfunding. There are multiple ways to support this amazing cause, not just financial. Donating to the Hero Fund. On their website, click on the red button if you would like to support a hero. You can make a one-time or a recurring financial contribution in a varying amount. You can give small business support through hiring Scott and Nicole for photography or videography services, headshots or portraits, or commercial or real estate photography services. Supporting their small business helps them in turn continue to support a plethora of well-deserving causes through their generous donation of their time and talent. Give a shout out on social media. Help them get the word out about their crowdfunding campaigns. Or give a shout out to the community outreach programs they support, like Amy's Wish with Wings, North Texas SNAP, Adaptable Scuba, and Heroic Inner Kids, to name a few. Put on your advocate hat. Step out of your comfort zone and broaden your mind by showing a willingness to educate yourself and learn about disability awareness and neurodiversity awareness. But don't stop there. With your newly gained knowledge, put on your advocate hat and educate others. Become an ally. There is great comfort in community. Come be a part of our village. Join us on March 22nd for part 2 of our interview with this creative couple, where they share some poignant moments and memories of the families they have served. Learn about more of their advocacy work with multiple outreach organizations. With the It's Only Homeschooling podcast, we invite your family to join ours for life lessons beyond the classroom. Through our Salt and Light Serve Spotlight series, we hope to inspire you to answer the call of service. We hope you'll make us one of your regular stops along the way in your homeschool adventures. Remember, education is a journey, not a destination. Until we meet again, take a deep breath and relax. It's only homeschooling.